this is Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow with another edition of Healthy Living for Expansions.com. Now, the other day I showed you how to make fresh pasta. So what I want you to look at down here is I've let it dry, you can see, and we are going to make a beautiful spinach lasagna. Now this is just a little bit of flour that I sprinkled on it so that it would, to absorb some of the moisture and not stick together. It is very delicate still, as you can see. I have here my pan, 9 by 12, I'm going to put it in, and I have some boiling salted water. So fresh pasta is very delicate. You don't want to put it in for very long. And let's see, I'm going to maybe break this off here. There we go. And I'm just going to put in 2 or 3 pieces at a time because, again, as I said, it is delicate, and I'm going to just boil it and then put it into my lasagna. Now, while this is boiling, I have here, I've shown you this brand before that I like, Monte Bene. It's a very plain tomato sauce, marinara sauce. I've read you the ingredients before. It's tomatoes and onions, olive oil, salt, basil, and pepper. And it's organic. This I'm going to just put a little light layer in the bottom of my spinach lasagna and shake that around a little bit. Now you can put as much or as little as you like, depending on if you like a lot of it or not. So let's see how our fresh pasta is doing. I'm going to bring that back to a boil. And as I said, it's pretty delicate, so I have a spaghetti or pasta fork here, whatever you want to call it. But I want it to be kind of soft, but not so it falls apart soft, al dente. So it's very, very easy to do. And I love the green color. Remember, this is the fresh spinach pasta that I showed you how to make. Okay, this feels good to me. So I'm going to just take this over and lay it out. Now it's very hot. Bring this down for just a second. Okay. Once I kind of get it, I'll make it a little prettier in there after it cools off a second. But don't want to overcook it. It will absorb, of course, some of the moisture during the cooking. Now you can see that they're not perfect in any way, shape, or form, which is just fine when I make my pasta. I don't anticipate it's going to be quote-unquote perfect, because it's going to be buried in here and hidden. And I don't like to waste any, so I'm taking a little crumb out. Alright, so this I'm just going to spread out here in the bottom. And if it needs to go up the sides a little bit, that's okay. There we go. I've got 2 of them there together. I'll put this here, and I'll save this for my next layer. I'll put it down at the bottom, maybe. Alright, now, as this is going, next we're going to do the spinach filling. And the spinach filling is very, very easy. Now, what I have here is my Cuisinart, and again, you can do everything by hand, but I'm a little bit spoiled now. I'm using this particular blade, and I am taking my ricotta cheese. This is 30 ounces, and you can use whatever amount you want, but I'm going to put in about half of it. Now, this is not organic. I cannot get that here. Wish I could, but I can't. You can also use sheep ricotta cheese if you want. And I have here spinach. Now, I like the frozen. This is a 1-pound bag of chopped organic spinach. I have 2 of them in here, and I unthawed it, and then I squeezed out all the juices to make it as dry as possible. And I'm just going to put in about half. And I also have some grated cheese, and this is the kind from the sheep's milk variety, and unfortunately at the moment I can't think of what it is, but it'll come. Oh, Pecorino Romano, that's what it is, Pecorino Romano. Alright, a half a cup And I grated that in this food processor, and I've also shown you how to do that. So that's going to go in. I have already chopped up about 2 bulbs, not cloves, bulbs of garlic, because I like lots of garlic, but that's up to you. So that about half of that's going to go into the mix. And here I have 6 medium-sized onions that I've chopped and fried, and you can see 6 onions are quite a bit, but it goes down, and the more that you saute it down, the better the flavor is, and I've shown you how to do that before as well on other podcasts. So about half of this is going to go in. So that's olive oil, and I would say about 3 onions. Now I like to put in 1 large egg, and mine were smaller, so I have 2 smaller eggs that are going to go into this layer. And of course, sea salt. I'm going to do about 1 tablespoon. Maybe just a little bit more, about 1 tablespoon and 1/3. And black pepper, organic. And I'm going to put in about 1 teaspoon of that, maybe a little bit more. Again, depending on how you like things. And then all you have to do is mix that up together just for a few minutes. There we go. That looks mixed. I'm going to chop it up just a little bit more. Okay, this is the first layer of your spinach lasagna. So this is going to come and go on top of your noodles. Now we like it with just the spinach, but if you wanted, you could put some meat on, either mix it right into your cheese sauce, or serve it, of course, on the side, or sprinkle it on top. You can do sausages, you can do ground meat. You know, it's like everything else. Your imagination is really your limit, so if you don't limit your imagination, you can figure it out. And also after this layer, if you want, you could put another layer of tomato sauce on, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait and put a little bit on at the end. You can see what a beautiful cheese mixture that is, and it's very, very easy. Now, of course, I'm doing this with my fresh pasta, which makes it really super wonderful, but you can also do this with store-bought pasta as well. So again, don't think, well, I don't have this and I don't have that, you know, like I talk about. Don't tell me why you can't do it. Tell me why you can. Well, this is going to go back on because we're going to make another batch in just a second. We're going to finish it off. Put that down there. Okay, and I am going to add a layer of mozzarella cheese, and I get the boar's head sliced from the deli. Makes it easy, but again, you can grate your own, and you can use goat or sheep. This happens to be cow dairy. This is nice and cheesy because the people in my family like cheese. Kind of thin. It also makes it pretty easy. Again, I don't have to deal with the grating, and I do that sometimes, but sometimes I don't want to fool with it. So that goes in. There's a little tiny thin piece I'm going to throw in on top. Alright, now my water's boiling again. So we're just going to put in a few pieces of the fresh pasta again. Now let's take it a couple of minutes to boil. And I like to watch it because it can overcook very quickly. And I've talked to you before why I like the spinach pasta, the homemade variety. I have more control over the carbs, the thickness of the noodle or the pasta that I want. And it's clean. All we have in here, we have unbleached organic wheat flour, white. and 10 ounces of spinach and eggs, and that's it. Now when we boil it in salted water, and that helps to put some salt into the pasta. People make theirs in a variety of ways. I try to do it mine as easily as possible, as you know. Let's see how it's feeling. Getting close. As I said, it doesn't really take too long in here. And I just made it a couple of days ago, and I let it sit. And sometimes I make it and I cook it right away, but if your lifestyle is busy like mine, the issue is you don't always have time or the energy to do it all at once, and I like to do the fresh pasta if I can. Alright, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to turn off my heat, and I'm going to, this time, it's going to go the other direction. So the first layer went this way, this layer is going to go this way. After it cools off a second, then I'll spread it around the way I want it to look as best as I can. And as I said, once it's in here, it doesn't really matter. Now I've made it in bigger sheets before, but it makes it a little bit more challenging to handle. So it just depends on what you like to do. One more noodle here. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to spread it in this direction. And it's al dente, so I like the the consistency of the pasta. Turned out really nice. Here, let's see if we have enough noodles to go across. Call them noodles, but I guess really it's pasta, if you want to be more politically correct. Just pull it over. There we go. And I really love the color of the spinach as well. Adds, remember, digestion begins in the mind. Excuse me. Let me cut this off. Okay. Oops. You can see, just kind of play with it a little bit. And if you put this in, it's not al dente, it's going to fall apart on you. So we don't want that to happen. But you know, worse things have happened. If you do and you overcook it, you know, you deal with it. It's life. Alright, so now you could lay it again, another layer of sauce down here if you want. I'm not going to. I'm going to go and make the second layer. So we're going to go back and finish off the ricotta cheese, whatever's left in your container. And again, this is a 30-ounce container, almost 2 pounds. Okay, and then I have the rest of my organic chopped spinach, which I already unthawed and squeezed out dry. That's going to go in. I'm going to put in the remainder of my pecorino romano. I buy the block and I just put it in my Cuisinart with that same blade that I'm using for this one, and it just grates it up really nicely for me. Alright, the rest of the onions, so it's about another 3 onions in there. Remember to cook it down, make it nice and golden brown, and that's what gives you a nice, really rich flavor. The rest of my garlic. Right, remember I told you I normally would use 1 large egg. These are smaller, so I'm putting in 2. And again, you can add as many or few as you want. I'm going to put in another tablespoon of sea salt, and a little bit more for luck, I guess. And about another teaspoon of organic black pepper. And then we just put it on for another 2 or 3 minutes. And the second layer of our spinach lasagna. Whoops, lost a little bit of cheese overboard here. There we go. we have a little bit more this time, which is okay. I'm going to go ahead and move it. Okay, let's see how this looks. Oh, this looks perfect. So, off we go over here to put the next layer in. Now you can do both layers at the same time or mix them together and divide in half. Like I said, whatever works best for you. And I think what I'm going to do, since I have a little bit extra in this one, is I'm going to put a little bit on top of my last layer of noodles and then put another layer of the mozzarella. Make it a little cheesier. So that goes on. Again, you could put in some more tomato sauce if you wanted that. I will put a little bit more of my tomato sauce on top. Like I said, I really like doing the sliced cheese because it makes it so easy. And whenever I want things from our local deli, I call ahead with my order, helps save time, and then I run in and pick it up because you can spend a lot of time standing in line at the deli section, and if you're busy like I am, I prefer not to do that, and a lot of times they're appreciative that you called in advance, and it makes their work easier. Okay, so back to the fresh pasta pot. So this is almost to a boil, so I want to let it boil, and then we're going to put in our last bit of fresh pasta here. And when we're all done, we will bake this at 350 degrees for roughly 30-40 minutes. We want it to heat all the way through. We want to be sure we get the eggs cooked that are in there. And then you want to let it stand maybe for 10 or 15 minutes before you serve it so that everything kind of sets up. It's a nice company dish. The other thing that I have done, which you can do if you want, is you could make a lasagna meat sauce on the side and put that over it. It makes a nice vegetarian dish. If you don't feel like meat, you can also use the spinach mixture, the filling, in other things. You could do the phyllo dough and put that in that kind of a spinach pie. You could put it into ravioli. You could put it into an omelet. You know, again, think about what you can do. You could put it on top of a pizza, in fact. Make a nice white pizza filling. So there are lots of things you can do. You just have to think about what you want to do. Go with the flow. Okay, let's see how this is doing. A little bit more. It's almost there. If I can turn that heat off, in fact. Okay, let's see. Just a bit more. Okay, you notice how I'm not doing all the noodles at one time because, as I said, with the fresh pasta, then what happens is it becomes a little bit challenging to handle. It all mixes together. For this purpose, I want to spread it out. I can. And this time we're going to put the noodles going the opposite direction. The first layer went this way, second layer goes this way, the last layer goes lengthwise again. Oops. Once it cools, I can pull it out again. The direction I want it to go. Alright. So, we're going to be in business here. Okay, you can see how it kind of sticks together, so you have to be careful and you have to kind of be quick. I hear Buddy over there getting into the cat bowls. He thinks I don't hear him and I'm ignoring him, but that's all that noise you hear. There he is. He thinks he's being sneaky, but he's not. Alright, here we go. Like I said, I really love that green color of the pasta. Okay, perfect. A little tail here, so I'll just chop that off and stick it there. And ready? And for my last layer, What I'm going to do is put the rest of the cheese sauce on top. Spread that around. That's buddy. And this bakes up really nicely. As I said, I will probably bake it about 35 to 40 minutes, somewhere in there, maybe 45, and then let it rest 350 degrees, just enough to get it all mushed together. Don't have to waste any. Okay, and this gets spread out. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of the tomato sauce on it. Now you could also put a cheese sauce on the bottom too. So get this off of here. So we're just about done. I'm going to put this little bit of tomato sauce on here. Buddy's having a field day over there in the meantime. He's getting away with everything. And if he's really in a good mood, he picks the cat dish up and walks off with it, thinking that nobody will notice. Yep, there he goes. That's Buddy. Okay, and then I'm going to put another layer of the mozzarella on it. You probably want to get about a pound of mozzarella cheese to put on the top. I think that's about what I have here. I have used some of it, so I've got another batch. Okay, and there's my last piece. And then this is the pecorino romano that I was telling you about. I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit on the top. Of course, it was already inside your cheese filling too. And it's a stronger cheese, that's why we don't use a whole lot, but it's going to give it a nice flavor and help it look really nice when it comes out of the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and set my oven for 350 and make sure there's nothing in there. Okay. And then as soon as it's heated, I'm going to put it in, and then I'll let you watch it come out and see what you... Okay, bake this about 45 minutes. I've let it set for about 15 minutes, and I'm just going to cut it into squares. It's still very, very hot. And I'm probably going to do about 8 squares so that I can have it for a couple of nights' dinner. Let's see. There we go. And you can see it's nice and gooey and cheesy, which is the way I like to have it. And let's see what it looks like when we take it out. It's still hot. Now it'll hold together better. Oops, let me go around the side. It'll hold together better the second day after it sits a while. But we're going to have it nice and hot and fresh. So look at that. Doesn't that look beautiful? Wow. Alright, look at even in here how beautiful this is. So you can see this is really a lovely dinner by itself, or you can add something to it, or as I said, you know, it's this filling, you can use it in a myriad of ways. But enjoy your cooking, enjoy your time, and enjoy just having something that not only is good for your system and your body, but is pleasing to the eye, because all digestion begins in the brain. Or the mind, I should say. Thank you for joining me, Janet Diane Moya, Swerdlow, HealthyLivingExpansions.com.